Greetings, book lovers. We're continuing Roger's adventure in becoming an English gentleman. And the qualifications for that are very unhealthy, but it's something to which he's aspiring. So, I mean, we gotta be there for him, to be supportive, as he is our long-suffering protagonist. So, Chapter 5 is called Pink Panties, and in this, it is found out that Roger had purloined the pink panties, and now he's going to be punished for it. Of course he's going to be punished. So let's find out how. I'm skipping. There's a dinner scene, but, there's... Dido and Miss Florence stood by the fireplace arrayed like goddesses, both in revealing gowns of the most sumptuous velvet. Dido in purple, and my mistress in black. Both had ample breast flesh exposed by very low-cut fronts, and with hourglass figures that I thought surely must be coursed. Miss Florence's breasts were thrust up like tempting ripe melons, and the swell of her buttocks was so smooth and firm that I could not detect the line of her panties. And I assume Dido is similarly dressed. So they have a discussion. Grub is there. They think she is the culprit, and she's wearing this several sizes too small maid uniform as a punishment, though I'm sure she wears it every day, knowing the tastes and fancies of the darks who live there. So they eventually find out, and so... Oh, I've skipped a page. Oh, summer. Alright. Let's get to the action. This is right after they realize that Roger has done it, and they're planning his punishment. Suddenly, both ladies laughed uproariously in my face. Then, quite coolly, they ignored me as they discussed the method of my chastisement. It went without saying that I should be caned, and on the bear, but Miss Florence insisted on the special cane, and Dido agreed. That will make his bum smart awfully, Dido said. Are you sure swift, sharp birching would not suffice? If the male does squirm to my satisfaction, mummy, I shall consider the birch as well as the cane. Ouch. Remember what the male said. Punishment should be merciless. Yes, he did say that, said Dido, nodding sagely. And luckily I am here as nurse, to make sure he can take it. I just remembered I did not upload the video of me reading the scene in which Dido acts as a nurse for Miss Florence, as it was just far too bizarre to read. You can't unread it. Yes, he said that. I already said that. Miss Florence said eagerly that a serving slut would take her flogging quite naked. Not just naked, quite naked. So I should do the same. Dido objected to this on grounds of modesty, and it was agreed that as extra humiliants I should be obliged to wear the panties I had purloined to cover my private parts, but that they would be pulled down to leave my bottom bare for the lash and prevent them from being spoiled by the cane. You may strip naked, Roger, and don the pink knickers, said Dido. "Oh, what? Now?" She nodded. "This minute." Dumbfounded, I stripped off my garments as the ladies, though not stony-faced grub, looked decorously away. I put on the precious pink panties, smelling them moist and oily, and just like an oyster, as though Miss Florence had worn them only recently. This thought caused my member to rise to full throbbing stiffness, and I covered her, being his penis, as best I could, with the pink silk, while leaving my fesses naked as instructed. I turned to face the ladies, and even though my hands were cupped in front of my manhood, my immodest state was obvious. I heard both ladies stifle gasps.
What a huge dick you have, Roger.
They don't call him Donkey for nothing, ladies. Then I was instructed to bend over and touch my toes in the school position, while Miss Florence fetched the special cane. This proved surprisingly easy to locate, for it was kept in the dining room sideboard on top of the Dresden china. Just like everybody else, right? I mean, my house had that. We didn't. And that is the point. This proved, yes, the Dresden china. I looked up and saw a special cane indeed, or canes, to a stout central handle of braided leather, about 2 feet in length, were fixed 4 separate wooden canes, about 2.5 feet in length, and half an inch thick, with wickedly forked tips. I shuddered and gulped, knowing they would wheel my bare fesses abominably. "I shall beat him to jelly, Mummy," said Miss Florence. "If you must," said Dido. Dido positioned herself in an armchair before me, with her thighs and the lady's place right in front of my face, and her legs scornfully crossed to give me a tempting peek of her stocking tops with the sweet distant mound of her panties, which were purple silk to match her dress. Her suspender belt was purple too, and the black stockings seemed a deliciously sluttish variant on this harmony of color. Black and purple really don't go together, so I'm not impressed. For a moment I had a peek of her purple satin corset pinched very tightly and ridging her belly skin. The points of her shoes poked inches from my face as though she were planning to stroke me. Oh, she's gonna stroke you with something, I'm sure. I felt Miss Florence's cool fingers in the waistband of her panties, pulling them further down to reveal my bottom fully bare. As she pulled them, my erect member suddenly popped from her mooring and waggled stiff and naked to their gaze. What a mental image. Miss Florence exclaimed in disgust, while Dido raised one eyebrow and suggested she fetch the ice bucket, as the panties were obviously not strong enough to contain such ardor. Grub wheeled over the drinks trolley and placed it under my belly, and my cock was buried in the freezing ice bucket. There was a hole at the edge of the lid for the neck of the wine bottle, and it just fitted over my cock, so that the lid could be buckled shut and imprison her. Despite my pain, I was still rampant and erect. So, on the 4th erection of that page and a half, it was only like the 2nd, I will leave you with that and continue in the next video.